So how many of you have experienced something like this in the last 18 months?
Okay. New group set. So, derailer, January of 2023.
Trying to get your hands on any bike component has just been a Herculean grand tour type effort, which had me thinking off the back of that Devel vlog where we talked a lot about the frame manufacturing process. I've learned a lot and I wanted to share with you guys what I have picked up along the way and really some ideas about where this might be headed in the future. Let's talk components. The first thing we have to cover is the state of the components industry pre-COVID. And this I just found mind-blowing. So there's really two elements of this that really matter. The first is the US-China trade tariffs. And the second, what an incredibly risk-averse industry this whole thing is. Amongst other things, the tariffs resulted in them reducing their warehousing, so their stock, and using the manufacturing process as de facto warehousing. In a sense, getting the factories to make high load and not keeping very much. And the risk aversity is just more due to the manufacturing process. There isn't the juicy kind of mold sharing that you see in the frame world. Most of the component manufacturers either own their own factory or license it. It makes sense for companies to keep a pretty tight leash on what's being made and what's being stored. So this is the environment that hits a global pandemic. Limited holding stock and capped production. Before we get into the COVID perfect storm, you have to remember, China still manufacture 97% of all global componentry. Yes, Shimano has the factory in the Philippines and Malaysia, and some people use Taiwan, but it is a drop in the ocean. Couple that with how small the bicycle industry actually really is in that manufacturing world in China. You can see that when labor shortages, raw material shortages start to happen, the industry doesn't have a lot of sway, it doesn't have a lot of push. So our friend COVID-19 happens, and yeah, we get all the lockdowns. We get the lockdowns that you've all heard about. They hit the factories, they hit all the different countries. But it's more than that, and it's still going on. For example, the Shimano factory in the Philippines is still at 25% labor force in the factory as it stands right now. But it is so much more than the lockdowns. In fact, it is a perfect storm of things. You have a fire in the Shimano factory, that's the derailers. We haven't talked about shipping yet. So we've got the Suez Canal issue, and then the shipping costs coming out of the factories are going up by 3,000%. Essentially, you've then got companies holding back stock before containers are filled. And I got to get a little bit political, a little controversial. The government are controlling this. Like, the Chinese government know what's good for them. And by that, I mean this. There is a labor shortage, there are a raw materials shortage. An industry like the bike industry is not going to be getting those resources. Far more beneficial for them to push those resources that are in a shortage to scaffolding and fridges and motor vehicles, because that's where they can really get the profits. And whilst I have Huawei's attention and everyone's listening in, we should probably talk about the Chinese distributors who are buying directly from the factories, the component factories, and selling it on to the international distributors and to the international component companies. We've heard with a distributor in the Philippines who would normally buy around 5 million components a year. Their arrangement is no longer with the manufacturing component factory in China. It is with the Chinese distributor who controls that. And it's higher prices, seemingly. So assuming the boys in red haven't shut us down, should we have a quick chat about where this is all headed? OEM bikes will be your best bet at getting a new group set, mainly because they're already ordered. In fact, they were ordered 18 months ago. So if you want the new SRAM Axis, Rival or Shimano 13 speed, your best bet's gonna be on the new Giant or the new Trek, because it was already ordered and it's in the process. And the other direction this is headed is alternate companies. Alternate companies from the big three. Mark my words, there will be a fourth and a fifth group set manufacturer in the world tour by the end of the decade. The key driver to this is not the production process or anything like that, it's wireless technology. And before you all shout, patent, trust me, there are thousands of more ways around a wireless protocol intellectual property than there is the way something pulls a cable. And that has the potential to eventually alleviate the stock issues, but also bring the cost of group sets down. They're just way overpriced. Way overpriced. Look, I realized I sat here for like 10 minutes and said, oh, it's such a difficult industry, there's risk, failure, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm saying, oh, it's so expensive, it's so expensive. But here's the thing, like now that we're moving into this wireless space, you're starting to move into a world of technology where people can start sharing tech that already exists. And that, just like in the frame world, is what started to bring things down. It's funny, the idea from this vlog actually came from people asking me why I chose the group set that's on the white bike. And I'm like, chose? We have a saying in our house, you get what you get and you don't get upset. Well, with group sets at the moment, it's you get what you can steal, beg, borrow, and buy, and you don't get upset. Welcome to a car-free Centennial Park. Once a month, I'm told. Absolutely fantastic. This is wonderful. Sidetracked. Guys, I want to talk about this thing, the Insta360 Go2. Now, as the name doesn't suggest, this is not a 360 camera. What it is an action cam, an absolutely tiny, tiny action cam. And I want to point out, well, 2 reasons why I think you should get it, and 2 reasons why I think it's maybe an on-the-fence bit of equipment. It is tiny, and the reason that is absolutely brilliant for cyclists is I never have to question whether I think I can bring this out with me. I can always chuck this in a pocket. It's not like normally if I'm doing vlogs and stuff, I'm like, oh, should I bring the camera? This is like, I don't care, I'll just bring the camera. Like, I don't even know it's in my pocket half the time. That is one reason. Obviously being this small, like you got all these different mounting options, and one of the ones that I'm really keen to play with is this one. So you are attached to a magnet that's on my jersey currently. Yeah. There you are. On there. Comes with 2 headaches. The battery life, which when I take it out of its little fob, isn't great. You're really limited to around sort of 20 minutes runtime before putting it back in to charge again. And the image quality, which, as you can see here, it's not 4K, it's 2.7 or something, which is okay, but it's a little grainy. No 2 ways about that. So if you are interested, I'll put some links down below to buy it directly from Insta360. I meant to have set up an affiliate program. I haven't done that. If I do get around to it, I'll get those links down below and obviously go through that link and it'll help the team out. For those of you guys who follow me on Strava, you've probably sort of looked at it recently and gone, what's he doing? It's sort of all random stuff. And yeah, it is. And there's a reason for that. Just haven't been sleeping well at all. And when I don't sleep well, I don't try and train that hard because I've done it in the past. I've dug myself holes, you know, a few hours sleep, come out, bash myself and just got sick or something like that. So I'm not sleeping well. I know why I'm not sleeping well. It's probably why many of you aren't. Just a lot on our minds at the moment. And yeah, it's keeping me up at night. So look, once I'm sure this will all sort of settle down and we'll kind of move on. But at the moment, it's just a random smattering of things on the bike and off the bike. So if you do follow me on Strava, there's no set plan to this at the moment. It's just to see how you feel every day and we'll see how you went that night, basically. Can't blame the kids for this. This is just 100% me. So anyway. Can't blame these troops for can't blame these guys for the sleeping issues because How's it all been going?
Good.
What's been your favourite homeschooling subject?
Writing?
Writing?
Actually, handwriting.
Oh, okay. And what about the Olympics? Been watching some Olympics?
Mm-hmm.
And what's been your favourite sport to watch?
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics. Very good. What about you, C the B?
Swimming.
Swimming. Nice. Swimnastics. Swimnastics? That's a new word.
I buy camera. I buy camera. Make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Pro. Alrighty. We'll see you soon.